Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Blackpink Leader. And
Hi
today,
everyone.
another topic with Pauline. And yes, you can see we're not live today, but yes, we're still recording this for you guys so you can enjoy the topic that we would love to share with you guys.
Yeah. And today, the topic, I think some of them would be wondering, why are we
Yeah,
talking about kids, children in this month or this early June episode? Because I
yeah,
heard something from Nhi's team that
yeah,
this month, 1st June, they mentioned about, oh, Pauline, shall we talk about how to raise resilient kids? Then I'm like, okay, but why
yeah,
topic on kids for June? Then they were telling me, oh, because it's Children's Day. 1st June is Children's Day. Then I'm
yeah,
like, what? No, it's not Children's Day, in June. I mean, it's in October. To me, it's in October. But they say,
yeah,
no, in Vietnam, it is in June. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, I learned something new. So in Vietnam, 1st June is the celebration of Children's Day. So
yeah.
although it's a few days over, I still want to wish every children in Vietnam a happy Children's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Pauline. Because I grow up with that, right? 1st of June is the only day of the years that okay, this sounds very bad, but we have a lot of sweet to eat.
Oh,
That's the only day that people give you present, give you sweet, and I think also because
ah,
it's the end of school time for us. So
ah,
after school will be school holiday. It's the started of school holiday break, so we will have a lot of like
mhm.
book, new notebook, pencil case, and so on and so forth. So with Vietnamese children who grow up as Vietnamese like me, that's all we
Mm.
remember. 1st of June is the day that you have the most
Gifts.
toy, gift,
Yeah,
present, book,
yeah.
clothes, or whatsoever. So for
Yes.
Vietnamese kid, this time is heaven. Oh, I love it. I have more gift.
Actually, in Singapore, it's the same one. Means I think
Yeah.
right now is good for you because your daughter, yeah, is now in school holiday. Don't need to go to
Yes,
school.
yes.
Yeah, June
Yeah,
also is the start of school holiday in Singapore as well.
yeah.
Yeah. So traveling with your kids this month, going
Yeah,
somewhere.
we plan to go to Vietnam at the end of like her school break because my schedule work is too overload and I cannot slot her in. No, no slot available. So I will bring her someday the end because she want.
Hmm.
I never bring her to temple before. Many trip
Ah,
before I bring her to like kind of Vietnamese charity and beaches and
hmm.
mountains. So I want to introduce her about uh, the
Yeah.
culture and at the same time the temple where I growing up with because
Ah,
the monk there was groom me a lot.
oh.
Uh, Back then when I was because I don't have my parent was left me and I was busy.
Hmm.
So actually, I spent a lot of my childhood time, like at least 4 years after school time in the temple, right? Yeah,
Oh,
I know a lot of people don't know about this. So the
wow.
Buddhist monk was the one who helped me, one of the one that to raise the fund to pay for my school fee when I was in my high school. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, so I was homeless when I'm 15. And I think I don't talk about the religion, but I will talk about the people behind that. Some of them is great that also support to be a resilient kid like me.
Hmm.
I
Wow.
don't know, maybe the age thing. I grow old now and I start remember a lot of things when I was secondary school, high school, when I look up to a father and someone that can raise me, and I don't have it. And the
Mm.
monk in the temple that I call master, up to now he's still my master. In my heart, he always my first like kind of how to say like adopted father. I always
Mm.
call that when I go to the temple. So I want to
Mm.
introduce her to my childhood a little bit more.
Mm.
Uh, it sounds a little bit selfish.
Oh, Nhi, I have the sound suddenly went went off. Is it me?
I still hear you.
Oh, now okay.
Yeah, I still hear you.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Just now suddenly the sound goes off.
yeah. So I just want to take advantage of she's still a little and can
Mm,
introduce her as much as Vietnamese culture before she
mm.
like, mommy, I'm not join you for holiday. You know,
Yeah,
how
it's
old
good to
is your kids? How old is your kids start tell you that I'm not go with you for holiday?
until now, my children, 124, 121, okay, they still will go with me on a holiday. Only
Oh,
this one.
okay. I have hope
Yeah,
then.
I believe yours. I believe yours will as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Eva will
I
do
hope so too. I think that's what I would I will, because I see how she go with friend for holiday. She more enjoying than she go with me. Maybe I'm older and I'm not as fun at her age, you know. So,
that. Nah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
In like, I think this is good to show your, daughter how it's like for you to grow up. And I'm not sure, did you share your story with her? How you grew up?
No, I
No.
mean, I think it's hard to go to detail on that yet because
Mm,
she not really understand yet. But I
mm,
think she start understand that, oh, I don't have a grandmother, grandfather, kind of my mother's side.
mm,
And I think I think also because of my life, it helped her.
mm,
I don't know, it become like hard for her to feel sad for her life because I remember when we divorced and one time she would come to me and she was give me a lot of tantrum in after school time, and she would
mm,
complain about, I want to have a father like my friend. Why always you and auntie pick me up, you know, and
mm.
start be hit me, or like she start screaming and crying, and we know it's normal, you know, it's a
Yeah,
part of, they start learning and they start understand, they start comparing, they
yeah.
start use a parent at the the thing that friend have,
Mm,
so I should have, right?
mm,
And it take me quite a few months to explain to her, okay, look at me, do you have seen my parent around? Have you ever think like how do I grow up? And a lot of kids outside that some is like me, and
mm,
then you have to keep repeat the same information. So she knows some, she don't know full. I don't think
mm.
she understand yet, but I think she start questioning about why her mom life is different than other, or like she go back from school and we go for like a run together in school, and then she was like, mommy, you are younger mom in my school, in my class. And I like, oh, why? She say, I asked all my friend how old their parent, and nobody tell me their parent 32.
Oh,
Because she 8 and I'm 32, it mean 24 I give birth. In Singapore, I
mm.
think quite rare,
Yes,
right?
yes. It is.
And they
Yeah.
like, they and she was like, can you see you look like a kid in my school? Because when I go there with her and everybody say, who is that? Who is that, Eva? Because you know the kid, right? They will start talk very
Yeah,
loud. I said, it's my mom. I said, mom, she looks so young. She looks so young. And and I
yeah.
just funny for me. So she come home and she asked a lot of like stuff when her friend
Mm,
feel like your mom is different, or so. So I'm working on explain to her a lot of thing on that.
mm.
But I think for understanding, I think she need to go Vietnam more. That's what I feel, because story is still story, right?
Yes,
Or
yes, yes.
or what I share is still very hard for her to imagine, because she
Mm,
born in a country that is different with where I
mm.
come from. So yeah, I'm working toward that.
But that's true because when she's able to go to the temple, I believe when you share with her the story, I'm not sure whether you are going to share with her the story how you grew
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
It
yeah.
gives her the realization how you've grown up with. I'm not sure how that temple currently, the state of it,
Yeah.
because
It's look way more like better now. Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah.
Back then
So
it's worse.
I believe so,
Yeah.
right? I believe there should be like now probably it's better. They have more funds, or because of
Yeah.
technology as well. In the past, maybe even the toilet may not be as good as
Correct.
all these the
Yes,
situation
accurate.
facilities.
You
Yeah,
are
things that
accurate. Yeah.
definitely, after like 20 years of
Yeah.
you maybe when you grow up, right? So I think it's good for her to really see the situation, even though now probably is way better off when you grow up. But as compared to where she grows up, which is in Singapore, I believe
Yes.
it's still quite different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's in your hometown, that's in a village, it's definitely
Yeah.
much, much different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for us is I believe she grew up staying in of course what we term as HDB, the Housing Development Board, which is the public housing in Singapore. But it is
Yeah.
still in a very good state where everything is being taken care of. Like
Yeah.
the
I
lift
agree.
function perfectly. The cleaning, there's always the cleaner to clean the downstairs, the void decks, and the rubbish. There are rubbish trucks every day, every morning to actually clear off the rubbish. And it's so easy for you to just dump the rubbish, a truck just dump it down, okay? And
Yeah.
things are cleared. The sewage
Yeah.
system. So I would believe there's definitely a vast difference of how Singaporean kids grow up very fortunately, very blessed. And the question then, of course, will be our topic is how do we then build and raise resilient kids who are able to, and the meaning of resilient would be, who are able to overcome adversity, able to
Yes.
recover quickly if there are actually like difficult situation because they are so, I mean, in Singapore, the children here, at least I'm not sure about your children or your kid,
Yeah.
but mine grow up in a very blessed situation. My children are not born very rich. I am
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
especially when they grow up. I was still fighting like you for my
Yeah.
career. We don't live in very good situation. I don't have a helper. They don't grow up with helper. I don't
Yeah.
have a car. Okay, and we take MRT. I mean, there are times we take taxi. There wasn't any Grab when they grow up, and
Yeah.
but I still find that they are very blessed to really have everything that's being provided for. So when they
Yeah.
go to school, the books, the textbooks, everything is there. So the key thing right now is if things were to happen, like for example, a
Yeah.
few years ago, we know we hit a very big thing which all of us face it the very first time, which is called COVID, the
Yes.
lockdown, where there's pandemic. So even I, or even people like my father, 70 years old, this is the first time we all locked down kind of like
Yeah.
together. It's something new. It has not been experienced before. So the key question is how do we let them experience, situations which they can recover quickly because life is not a bed of roses, right? As
Yeah.
much as we hope that our children grow, I mean, even when they grow old, everything is smooth, is in a bed of roses. We want that for them. But we know
Yeah.
life is not like that, right? As they grow up. So they're very fortunate, unlike maybe you and me, we have certain adversities, certain situations which we have to overcome that make us very resilient. So the question now is for children, for kids who are so blessed, how do we then make sure that they are resilient? So that's the
Yeah.
big question right now for I think not just in Singapore but many countries. I believe even in Vietnam right now, where
Yes.
everybody, yeah, even the Vietnamese kids right now, I think they are much more fortunate than the past,
Yep.
and we do have situations where they are really also born with cars, with food on the table. They don't even need to probably do housework. So how do we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might want to
So I
give
think first,
views.
I think
Yeah.
so. First, I think first have to ask how Pauline successful do that because her kid is grown now, right?
Mm,
So
mm.
I mean, I'm
Yes.
still my journey, but how do you start it and what did you add in your life with your kid that make a difference? That today you
Yes.
can confidently say that you have a resilient kid?
Okay. For me, it's as I mentioned, my children, even though they were being given the basic necessities, like for example, going to school, they are quite fortunate as well. They are able to go for enrichment classes like tuition, like my daughter grew up learning ballet, and I also signed up for piano class, but after that I stopped because in school she has another band which she has too much of an enrichment classes, so I have to cut it down. Right, she's so
Mm.
busy. So the kind of resilient kid in Singapore, I think is slightly different. It's more in terms of the emotional and mental resilience that they have to experience. So what do I mean by emotional and mental resilient? Of course, in terms of livelihood, it's not an issue. Even if we talk about probably the not so well-to-do children in Singapore is still quite blessed. Everything is covered for. Even in school, the Singapore government would cover most of the stuff. So for me, it's very important that they grow up having that mental resilience. Now, what do I mean by the mental resilience would be they are able to overcome situations. Now, since young, what I do is, as I just now mentioned, my children do not have any helper. So they have to do things by themselves and they have to face situations by themselves. Like what? I don't check their homework. I don't check or pack their school bags for them. I leave it to them to do it since primary one. Of course,
Mm.
what I would do is in primary one, when they first start school, I do have, because they have this notebook where the school teacher would kind of like force the parents to read. Then we have to sign.
Yeah.
Like it,
Yeah.
I'm not sure now you have or not. Like me, no.
Yes, every day.
Yeah. So the school teacher actually put in so-called the responsibility right now to be with parents. I know there's a meaning to it because they want the parents to actually at least know what the children they would be doing, right? So in case
Yeah.
we are like very hands-off parents, we know what's going on. So the key is when I have certain things that's being put out in the booklet. Sometimes the teachers will put out, oh, my son, normally my son would have certain issues like never do homework, too talkative in class, or things like that. So they will write it. I would actually do some explanation to him. But how do I put it resilient is if they face with situation, I really let them handle it. And I do a debrief with them. Now, there is one situation that I really am very upset. And but this is the part which my boy has to learn what's called resilience. Now, my boy was being selected to be a so-called a school leader from
Mm.
primary two to primary three. Now, one day he comes out and said, Mommy, I'm going to be the so-called the school leader. You know, they have a badge from primary three
Yes.
onward. Then it's like so
Yeah.
happy that he can become like the school leader, the student leader. They call it like a student leader. Now,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, one day, a few months later, he tell me, "Mommy, I'm not going to be the student leader anymore." So I'm like, "Okay, what happened?" Right? No, he said, "Teacher said, maybe there's too much. You know, I'm not selected." So I didn't know the real reason
Mm.
until during the last day of the school. There's always the parents teacher meet. So
Yeah.
I keep thinking like, oh, probably it was actually maybe he's being shortlisted, then he's not being selected. But after that, I realized he was actually being selected, but this position was being taken away. It was being taken
Oh.
away. Yeah, why? Because he and his friends, because his dad taught him how to fold boats, paper boats, right?
Yeah.
So what happened is he taught his friends how to fold the paper boats, and they fold it and they put these paper boats into that little pond in the school to see, to
Oh.
play with it. And they
Yeah.
were being caught and they were being reprimanded. And for him, he was being stripped off from that
I see.
position as a student leader.
Wow, that
But
must be the big scar for him for when young,
yes,
emotional.
it
Yeah.
was actually a big scar for a child of 8-year-old. But
Yeah.
he didn't know how to handle it. I mean, my
Mm.
son, I realized there's actually a switch in the behavior. Yet the teacher didn't know that this switch it actually put a scar on him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
when he come back to me, he actually says that, because now the teacher said no need, no need. But he didn't give me the whole story that actually it was being taken away from him. When I
Yeah.
heard this story, I was very upset. Now, I was very upset because of a few things. It's not because this title was being stripped off. It's because why is it that this is really a situation where the school should have told me and we handle it together with the child? Because after that, I realized a different behavior in my son. Since then, my son always have the notion that I do not get the things that I want. So there was this situation where when he was actually at I can't remember, it was like 12 or 13 years old. We were supposed to go for his birthday celebration. And somehow the birthday celebration screwed up from by the restaurant. The food didn't come. It takes very long. So we decide, not to, because after 1 hour, the food still didn't come. It was too packed. We decided to go to another place to celebrate. And after he started crying,
Yeah.
and he says, and I said, "Oh, no, it's okay. Why do you cry?" He said, after that, he felt very sad. It's because he says, I always do not get the things that I want. It
Mm.
always happens to me. I was so happy, but it always happens to me that the things that I want, I don't get it. That was where I started to realize one thing. Some of the things that happened in him before does
Yeah.
have an impact on him. But as parents, we need to know. And this
Yeah.
is the part I was, of course, my heart breaks when I saw him like this. But there's a situation where I start to realize that I need to let him learn. I
Yeah.
need to let him know it's not the case that whatever that you want it, you can't have it. You will be able to have it. I believe in the law of attraction. I believe
Yeah.
in manifestation. But the key thing is, you need to understand this that, we definitely need to keep hustle. We need to keep
Yeah.
hustling. This is what I believe Nhi and me are still doing right now. We are still hustling. But
Yes.
the thing is, we might not get the results that we want. But it
Mm.
doesn't mean that there is no result.
Yeah.
There is definitely results. It's just that probably the result is not what we want. We just need to know this consequence, this result. What do we learn from it? So
Yeah.
that brings me to even the birthday celebration. I need to explain to him, I need to talk to him. And since then, I am very careful of all this that is in him to make sure that he doesn't bring it for life. He needs to
Yeah.
learn from it, and he needs to know how to work hard at it. And he needs to know also one thing: even though I work very hard, it doesn't mean I will get that result that I want, but it doesn't mean there is no result. You just have to continue to do it and do it better,
Yeah.
continuously learn. That's the situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on the part of how to explain to the kid that you
Mm.
can work hard, but doesn't mean you
Yeah.
will get something, right?
Yes.
Because we live in the world right now with the kid watching stuff that people talk about, like thing, like physical thing that you will get reward or you will get success in life. And it's thanks for sharing, Pauline, because I learned so much from that story. Because I think it's all the mom will go through the same thing when you're busy to make a living, you want to have a connection with your kid.
Mm.
Yes, no excuses, but it's not an easy journey.
Yes.
Especially the more you close with a kid, the harder for them to listen to you, right? Somehow the ear just close up because you are
I
the
think for
parent.
for him that situation is not is difficult. It's like I also find that he didn't say that to me is because he's afraid that mommy will be disappointed as well.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So he didn't want to say the real reason that, you know what, mommy, I was actually being punished by my school, and that's why, and because I did this, so that's the reason why I was being stripped off of the title. Yeah. It's difficult for a child to tell that to the mom. Yeah, but this is something that we have to understand. And when I know about the situation, this is where as parents, now of course, the typical parents I would just think, oh, how come you never tell me? Huh? How come you're so naughty? Yeah, you did this. Luckily the teacher told me, da 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 and things like that. This is one way we can handle it. Now, what will be the impact of a child? Now, another way we can choose. wow, this situation happened. Understand the psychic behind why did the child behave in this way. Now they are only 8 years old. They play by the pond. They play because they know a boat. I mean, this is, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a child before, right? I was just also wondering why is the school so strict on them in this?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know it's kind of like misbehave. This they kind of like broke the school rules. I don't know whether there's a school rule on that. But why didn't they do a debrief the situation and let them learn from it rather than just strip off the title? You know, it's so they are children and they are curious. They're experimenting something. So
Yeah.
this is also the case where we need to also share with our children like that I still, frankly speaking, as a teacher, I would encourage them to do so, but I will tell them the danger of it. I know
Yeah.
that the school why they don't ask them to do it because it's a pond. They may drop into the pond and it's dangerous. But the key
Yeah.
is let them know. Wow, you folded a boat. You take a look. The boat it actually floats on water. What did we learn from it? Right? How come a paper boat can float on water? So this is the science behind it that they can learn. But the
Yeah.
situation, we also need to let them learn that, you know what, you should not be doing this in school. Why not? Although this is a good experiment, but there is danger to it. You need to
Yeah.
understand, you need to keep yourself off from this pond, right? It is dangerous and da da da, things like that. Have a debrief from them, teach them, let them know. And when this title has to be stripped off, I don't think it should be done that way. All I need to do is this. You know what? Kinan, my boy's name is Kinan. This is a situation where, as a student leader, you have to stop them from doing so. Yeah. So, what should you be doing? This is a chance for him to learn as a leader. Now,
Yeah.
what should he be doing at this juncture? I mean, this is if I'm a teacher, I would do that. Yeah, to let him learn. Yes. And that's where resilience comes in. Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
part of you mentioned is very interesting for me, and I realize that's why it's so little or hard to find leader, because we don't really have a structure in school to guide the kid to be a leader, right?
Yes.
Because as
Yes.
the leader, let's be real, like you are the leader yourself, and so do I now. I learned one thing, that if you want the kid to be a resilient and the leader with resilient mindset,
Mm. Yes.
you have to let them fail and you have to allow them to fail. And the only thing that you should do is not punish but encourage them, like it's okay to fail and learn from that and let's move on.
Yes.
Because I'm sorry, that's how I'm success now. I don't know how
Yes.
Pauline, but but that's how leader learn, right? if
Yes.
you
Mm.
if you punish them because they try something new, it actually stop them from
Mm.
think something different,
Yeah.
think something, like they depend on your order to working, right? And if they have to depend on your order, they're not a leader, right?
Mm.
Like we talk about that concept, like people talk a lot about, oh, learn to be a leader, and then it's so easy to say it, but when to done
Yes.
it is tough. It's very
Yeah.
tough, right?
Yes.
I have to say, like my journey from the moment Eva start speaking and listening and understand the conversation or can hold the conversation, I very mindful about what I'm saying to her,
Mm.
to make her brain to think.
Yes.
And I agree with Pauline. I think resilient kid now is not about you can work hard or tough or whatsoever. I think it's about inside. Did they confident about themselves and can
Yes.
they handle situation and life situation with or without parent, right?
Yeah.
Because I think the part of parent always too strict or too sticky to the kid, it may not help. So I
Yeah.
will tell you a nearer story that I have with
Mm.
my daughter, that she was, and we have a safe space to share our conversation, because I that's what I built for her.
Mm.
And she started asking me about kidnapping.
Oh, what?
I know, right?
Okay.
She only 8 years old. Like she not even 8 years. She like 6 more months to be eight. And I think because the movie we're watching, a lot of
Yeah.
document right now, they talk about how the kid get kidnapped, or
Oh.
all the younger kidnapped on
Mm.
Netflix, and
Mm.
like how the internet. people kidnap on internet. And she started learning, right? Because she used device. And then she
Mm.
asked me, Mommy, if one day I fall in love with someone and if my boyfriend kidnap me, how do you help me? I know it's so tough, right? And then for 2 seconds, I tell myself, in this case, if I'm in Vietnam, you already get one slap because you're so young to ask that kind of question. You know,
Yeah.
of course, because we start compare us with her with when I'm young, right? Like it's normal. I don't
Mm-mm.
know how for you, but for me, every time she asks me something, I will like,
Kidnapped by boyfriend. Okay.
when when I'm your age, I'm still go to the tree and pluck the leaf and play flower. And you ask me about this big question, and I'm like, okay, this is what you raise her for. Prepare for it. Now it's come, right? Now it's come. So I refuse to give her answer, and I give her
Mm,
more question. That's our standard to make
mm,
her think. I say, so in that
mm,
situation, can you think of that you hungry? Can you ask the person phone for you to call for food? And when you
mm.
call for food, let's be smart. Let's pretend that you call for police and tell police to deliver your food. How about that, right? I suggest for her some ideas. She's like, oh, that's a very cool. Baby, tie me in a cable, and if like they give you full speed question, they give you no room to escape. Have you been there before? So, so I feel trapped, right? I like, oh my god, what do I need to tell her now? And then I will start bring her to the next thing of, you have to trust your heart, right? Your gut. And that's
Mm,
something you have to practice, because I don't know how to explain for your gut. But that's why sometimes I ask you where you're going and what you're doing, not because I'm difficult or I'm trying to control you. I just want to know the situation in case you need me. And then I lead her to build the trust, and I will ask her about, if people tell you, if for example some strangers tell you about, if you tell it to your mom, I will kill you, should you tell me? Because I don't want to feed her if the question answer.
mm,
She think for a few seconds. I think it hard for her to say, yeah, why not? Why I should tell you, right? Somebody tell me I should don't tell my mom, I should
mm,
don't tell her. But then she say, yeah, maybe I should tell you. I say, what you mean maybe? Like, I mean, you can decide to don't say. Then she
mm,
like, yeah, I used to think I should don't tell you sometimes something, but now I think about kidnap, I think, yeah, I should tell you. And then yeah, the conversation going on, and I teach her about protection, private part, and so on. But
mm.
I'm just saying, kid now grow up so quick because of
Yes.
technology.
Yeah.
And then I don't want her to feel like I'm controlling, because
Mm,
I'm not. I just want her to make sure that she's safe. I say, I give you a lot of freedom of can use device and all that. She like, yeah, mommy, thank you for that. My friend don't have that kind of going out and freedom. I say,
yeah.
yeah, because I want you to face the situation early and report to me, and we sit down and we discuss, and we see
Mm,
how you can be overcome from that. And she
yes.
started share with me about, like, she play game and have stranger on the conversation.
Mm,
Like they exciting because new people make friend, talk, joke. And she say, oh, now you tell me that, then I have to be careful who I play game with, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
that's what I want, right? You cannot
yeah.
control the kid what they
Yeah.
play at the end of the day. Like one day she'll be in the room, she can lock the room, you can't. And I tell her, so yeah, that's the whole point. I let you face it early so you can experience. So I think
Mm,
another tip that I can share for parent, it worked for me. I don't know if other parent work, is be honest to your kid and willing to support them. For example, if she see the girl on online dancing, she will look
mm,
at my eyes and she will look at the girl, and she will look at my eyes and she look at the girl, because she know her mom not doing all this. She will like, Mom, I like to dance like this. Can I dance in the house? So she will on the music and she dance, and I have a video recording of that, and I like, oh my god. In my heart, that's oh my god. But outside, I'm like, I'm not supposed to judge her, you know, because her childhood is different from my childhood. Unless I
yeah.
bring her to the mountain and start plant my own vegetable. You know what
Mm.
I mean? Like I cannot judge her. It's so wrong. And I tell myself, oh my god. I come to her, I say, yeah, 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 just do whatever you want. And I realize that it's like we have to be friend with enemy, right? So I have to be friend with whoever that doing this that I don't like, to try to understand and to let my kid experience that until she realize this thing is
Mm.
useless, mommy, right? But if now I stop her and say this thing is useless, I think she will hate me, right? So I
Mm.
like, okay, I need to step back. I need to try to understand why she like it, why she like to. It's just a music. It's just a sound. It look cool because people do it, so I want
Mm.
to do it, right? So
Mm. Mm.
resilient kid for me now is the toughness only come from
Mm.
the emotional situation you really face with it.
Mm.
And I think the only part of the parent right now is create the environment that many opportunity for the kid can face the chance to be resilient.
Yes.
I was bring Eva to Vietnam, and like I shared with you last time, the first time I bring her to do charity, I was very nervous. I
Mm.
was worried that my kid was never see poor children before, or kid
Mm.
would not as blessed as her. I worry that she was not kind to them or whatsoever. All the story come up in my brain until she face it and she really be amazing person. Like like we say, like you be a good role model, the kid will learn after you. And I
Yeah.
never thought of what have I contribute that my kid can learn of until that day I realized that, oh, she
Mm.
know, she see what
Eh,
I doing. I think she finally understand it, and she apply what I doing, and she take care of the kid as much as I do. And it make me really feel touched. And that's why I'm more motivated when people tell me, what school holiday you bring her to village, you should bring her go to Europe, right? And for me it's like she have a whole life to go Europe, but
yes.
I don't think she will have many opportunity to understand where her mom come from and what her mom been doing. And I want to introduce her that first.
Mm.
And one day she can be resilient when she go overseas in difficulty. I tell you, I let her experience all sorts of things, shower in the rain, shower in the mud,
Oh,
shower in the river. She go to
wow.
the
That's
yeah she
interesting.
go yeah I bring her to the stream where all the stone, and it was swimming there. And I
Yeah.
show her bamboo, I show her farm. She go to
Wow.
rice, she fall down in the rice field.
Yeah. That's
And
fun.
everything is like, is not anything that Singaporean kid would
Yes.
share to come back from school holiday. And
Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing is her school, after the school holiday, the teacher will pick few of interesting school holiday story to share
Mm.
on the screen. And the teacher will pick her story, and I have
Yeah.
a picture of her who's Singaporean kid wear Nike shirt, Nike short, standing
Oh.
on the rice field of Vietnam. And she was like, she come home and she tell me, mommy, I will tell them about, they so much that don't know a lot of things. Okay, I will tell them about how I harvest watermelon. And they
Yeah. Oh.
told me watermelon come from NDUC, and I tell them wrong. Watermelon is come from the farm, and I explain to them how the watermelon tree look like, how the watermelon, and
Yeah.
because I let her show her like corn, rice, watermelon, sweet potato, where the vegetable come from, where the fish come from. How do you have food on table? It's not come from NDUC, it's come from farming.
Yeah.
And I let her harvesting the fruit, like for the real. And then she go and catch the fish and do the seafood for real. So it's for her, it's
Mm.
like, oh, it's not come from NTUC, it's not
Mm.
come from Fair Price, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I think it's, for me as a farmer, or like a village kid, right? For me, it's like, why do you don't know where rice come from? Because we don't have, like a 9 and 6, we talk about that, right? The kid
Mm.
grow here, if the whole life they see the rice come from the rice packet, I think
Mm.
that's right. They will never think that rice really come from a real tree.
Feel.
And for her to see the whole process of the rice yellow piece become take off
Ah,
the shell outside and become
yes,
the
yes,
rice. Then she's
yes,
like, wow, that's where the rice come from. That's so cool, right? And then I'll have to explain with this yellow thing. If you don't take out, you can raise the next field of the rice. She
yes,
like, wow, that's so cool. You should see kid when they figured out something for the first time. This where it
oh,
come from. Oh my
yeah,
god, so I'm committed to give her more opportunity to learn about
yes,
real stuff for the next few years. Even
yeah,
chicken, right?
yes,
She see people kill chicken for the first time in front of her eyes. She was like,
yeah,
"Mommy, this is how the chicken come for me to eat chicken rice," because she always loved chicken rice in Singapore. So she don't
yeah,
know how where the chicken come from for be chicken rice. And she said, yeah, you have to catch the chicken, you have to kill the chicken, and you really have to cook the chicken, and then you boil the chicken, and then you cook with the rice. It's quite a process. And she like,
mm,
oh my god, poor chicken.
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but they have to face it. They have to face it, and I think the emotional strength of break the truth that you know is true is no longer true. I think
mm,
that's a resilience we have to build for the kid as well,
yes,
right? Because the other part of the world, your reality and your truth may not true.
yeah. The key thing is, I think we need to address one key person in this part on
Yeah.
raising resilient kids. And this
Yes.
person is none other than parents ourselves. I
Yes.
always ask this question for parents ourselves, are we even resilient enough
Yes.
to raise resilient kids, right? We are talking about resilient kids, but sad to say, because
Yeah.
probably I live in a very blessed, fortunate country, and in this era, I mean, I grew up in the 70s, 80s, this era, and parents right now, maybe for young children, probably we are born in the 70s and 80s in Singapore, and at that juncture already Singapore is in the developing stage.
Yeah.
So when you talk about resilience, I would also say one thing. After the independence of Singapore, our forefathers, our leaders have built this country so well with the good education, with a good infrastructure, good housing. The basic needs are being taken care of since we were young. So
Yeah.
I would just say one thing also, because I work with people in my generation. I really doubt, frankly, how they raise resilient kids, because
Yeah.
even we ourselves need to have situation for us to be resilient. Like
Yeah.
what just me has mentioned, she grows up in a very different environment. That's why she knows if she were to fail, were to fall, she knows how to climb up, climb back up, and recover very fast. I believe for those who have heard how COVID has hit her very hard,
Yeah.
and during that situation, how she actually survived with only a few $100s, start her business, okay,
Yeah.
and then today grow this business into having like 800 employees, multi companies, and it's so successful digital technology company now in just 4 years. I want to ask
Yeah.
this question. Maybe you are an employee yourself. You have not started to be entrepreneur yet. Are
Yeah.
you able to handle such situation? Are you able to even start a business knowing that you are left with only a few $100s? Would you
Yeah.
be using that few $100s to buy the last, milk, to buy milk powder for your children, or you
Yeah.
rather choose to use it in really build up your business, or thinking of ways how you can start to build a business? But a lot of Singaporeans in this situation, the adults that I know are facing with this situation, very common. Work in a company for many years, did not like the company, in a situation where they are not growing themselves and they don't even want to grow. Why? What's the point? Okay. And complaining about bosses, about the companies, complaining about situation that like they cannot get out of this rat race. Yet they want to be one of the rats to be keep on running. So, in this situation, my question to the parents is this: how then have you set a good example for your children, for your kids to be resilient? Because when things come, when let's say I have so many of my friends being retrenched, right? In because we are in the 40s, late 40s, 50s, being retrenched, cannot find jobs. When I take a look at their attitude, sad to say, I used to be a listed company executive director. I would say also one thing. I'm sorry, when I see you, I won't want to employ you as well.
Yeah.
Why? Because you are not resilient enough as well. When the company, because in those situations in companies are we are businesses that is facing the real thing, which is, well, customers, are they going to buy my products or services? Is there going to be businesses, right? How do I develop the new technology? How do I be more productive? How do I be more innovative? Things like that. Every day things change so fast that we need to be resilient as parents ourselves, as adults ourselves. But are we there yet? Are we really doing the things and being the good real model, the role model for our children? So even parents, and maybe I want to ask you this question. Are you resilient enough? Are
Yeah.
you able to accept failure in your own life and climb up, recover from it? Not to say, you want to raise resilient kids, but for parents ourselves, am I prepared to do so? I would say anytime for me. I believe Nhi also say anytime for her.
Yeah.
And that's the situation. We are not afraid of things go wrong. In fact, we are very uncomfortable when we becomes comfortable.
Yes, me
I'm
too.
not sure whether Nhi, you are like that
Yeah,
because
I agree. I agree. And if I feel the peace is like for 3 months, I will start like, oh my god, the big storm is coming. What's going on, right?
yes,
I feel peaceful. Doesn't mean I like create drama or problem, but the truth
mm,
is we have to grow, and grow is
yeah,
uncomfortable, right? Grow
yes.
is so uncomfortable, and you can't run away from that.
Precisely. And the thing is, people stop growing because I'm happy with my life right now. I'm comfortable with it.
Yes.
Nothing wrong, what? Yes, I know nothing is wrong. But the key question is, in Chinese, we have this, in Chinese, what we say, 危机感. That means when it's in peace, are you prepared for any crisis to come? Are you
Correct.
ready for it? Right? So this is the key thing that I would always got to ask myself when I get very comfortable with the situation that I'm in, like especially in my career. Frankly speaking, I will rock it. I know there are situations that says if it ain't broken, don't fix it, right? But it is a case of now if I get so complacent, so comfortable, the next question I ask myself, am I growing? So if I am not for some time, I will get a little bit worried because if there are new situations that come along, am I ready to handle it? That's the key
Mm,
thing.
yeah.
So this is where if I'm always in that situation, if this is how I behave, I believe my kids will be able to behave in that way as well. So this is how
Yeah.
I mentioned. We always like to say this, right? We become the role model. We lead by example. So that's where I will have this behavior. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I I agree with you so much on that because I have seen how much I've been. I mean, like I not used to believe that. Oh, by take care of the kid, I need to be resilient. I back then I'm the same like other parent. I was use what I know to raise a kid. I will always
Mm.
protective. I will always like very micromanage or
Yes.
basically call like always anxiety kind of mom. Way before back then, like I'm just give birth for the baby, and I would the only thing I worry is she may die or whatsoever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Only I go through that crisis in my life, the divorce, the COVID, and
Mm.
it make me become a different person and different perspective. And exactly like you say, when you left few $100 and not even your real money, it's few
Yes.
$100 on credit card that you already being debt heavily, right? How do
Yes.
you recovery from that? It mean after this few $100, which is you borrow for the bank, and that's it. And it bring me to the back to my childhood. That's why I say I want to show her where my childhood is because at that moment my childhood come back to me, and I remember I just eat rice and fish sauce, and then I'm survived. And I tell myself, why do I have to make a lot of story about, oh my god, she won't have a life like other children in Singapore. She won't have good clothes and good food or whatsoever, because compare her with standard of Singapore, right? I'm not compare her with the standard of Vietnamese. With Vietnamese, she is freaking blessed, right? And then it
Yes.
bring back to
Yeah.
me my reality, and I can focus to make money without care what other people say. Even I remember when start buy egg with cheaper price, buy
Mm,
rice with cheaper price, and my helper were like, "Oh, you want her to eat like us already?" Because me and Maya will eat cheap product and buy
mm,
forever expensive thing. And I tell her, I say, yeah, she just have to live how you and me live in your country and in my country. I cannot afford anymore, but I'm working toward there. And too bad the whole family have to experience together. And my helper also come from a Indonesia countryside, so she okay
mm,
to have a few months of not privileged kind of food. But for
mm,
a kid, for her, as she like a bigger mother than me, like she was like, yeah, but poor thing her. I say, don't worry, she won't be poor thing. She don't even remember anyway. It's just egg. What's a big deal? She cannot taste the difference. We just us. It's just us with our story that we think is a big deal, right? And I go through that and I realize that, oh, actually not that difficult. And 2 days ago I asked Eva about what is the most memory thing that you remember between you and me at the moment you can remember thing. And everything that she shared, nothing she mentioned a word of money. Nothing.
mm,
It just, mom, you cook for me fried rice. You bring me to Vietnam. You bring me to go swimming pool. You bring me go viewing. You let me play in the rain. You let me play in the mud. You let me go and harvest vegetable. And she mentioned every memory of, I let her try something new, right? And it nothing about how much money you make or whatsoever. And I realized we as a parent, we have the story in our head about how much money you should bring on the table, then the kid will be protected and have a lot of resources to be success and resilient, right? I don't get me wrong, we still need this, we still need this
mm,
safety in Singapore, but to be resilient is a little bit of sacrifice as a parent, remove the protected part of
mm,
us to let the kid taste certain thing in life, let them, and at least they face it in front of you, in front of your eyes, that you
mm,
can support them, then you can guide them, then you can explain to them. And I mean, you cannot like support them or guide them if you gone, right? So if today you gone, just think about that, how they would think for themselves, how they would deal with their life. And for me, is the most selfish thing can think of is, oh, if I die, then I don't have to think about it. Then the kid have to deal it by themselves, right? It's like a compound
mm.
interest we're talking about. This is a compound effect.
Yes.
If you refuse to teach them, and when you left, their life will be worse. Even you don't see them, it's not going to get better. But I think for Pauline kid and for my kid, I believe I'm confident that they will remember every sentence that we tell them about. Think about this, how do you do this, if
Mm,
not me, and how is you, how do you deal with this situation? And I think they were thankful for us that we allow them to think for themselves.
mm,
Yeah, and I think that's the most important skill as well I have. So we always talk about, um you have to live your life, you have to build your life, and you have to create your life, right? We always talk about that. So from young, I've been plant that seed in Ava head about that. And the other day, she will learn from ChatGPT how to learn another language.
oh,
So she want to learn Vietnamese because she want to start talk to her fan in Vietnam. I never
oh,
forced her to learn Vietnamese because I think she learn Mandarin and English quite take a lot of time right now, and I don't want her to distract by that. And I just let her free of will. You want to learn, you learn, and she learn by herself. And she use Google Translate, she use Chat GPT, and she start use it like manually and learning and reading. And she start speak Vietnamese, sound very cute. And I will tell her, I like, oh my god, Eva, you learn so fast. And kid at this age they're like a sponge. And I tell her, I
yes.
say, ever one day mommy grow older, if I lazy learn, can you force me? Can you tell me, mommy, you need to learn more? Because I
Yes.
was so scared next time you will learn so fast and I will left behind and I start
Yeah.
don't understand you and I still want to understand you. Can you support mommy on it? And I'm say that and she like, no, mommy, I'm not going to do it. And I was shocked. I was like, huh? Why? You don't want to help me? And this is what she tell me. She say, I want you to live a life that you want, mommy. So if the life you
Wow.
want that you don't want to learn, it's okay. Okay, I will never ask you to do anything because you tell me the same. You let me live my life. You give me freedom. You've been giving me a lot of opportunity to do what I like. So when you grow old, I will let you do what you like. Okay, so don't worry. You can live your life. And it hit me hard because I was like, I would never think it's come from you, and I would
Oh,
never think whatever I've been tell you from young because she was so doubt about I need to make my mom happy, I need to make my father happy, and I always tell her, I say your only job is figure out what you want in your life and make yourself happy. That's the best gift you can give to mommy. Figure
yeah.
out what you love to do, live your life, and you don't have to worry about like me and your dad divorced or what, it's nothing to do with you. You have your own life. Our divorce have nothing to do with you, and you
Mhm.
should continue the journey to figure out what you love and live your life. So I've been always say that to her, and when I hear it back from her, it just hit me hard because I realized, oh, it's working. If you persist it long enough to plant the seed of your belief to your kid, and that belief have to be right. I don't
Mm.
know, right or wrong, everybody will define different, but for me,
Yeah.
if I don't want her to live a life I live, then I should don't give her that information. I should give
Mm.
her a different kind of information. And yeah, I and that's just like few days ago, so that's why it's still fresh memory for me to share. But it's interesting how you demonstrate and you show and the kid really copies. So parent, that's what I will share, that you have to be resilient yourself first, and you
Yes.
have to and first the first resilient you should practice is let your kid fail.
Yeah. Now, also, we can say that as adults, we also need to let the kids know is we also let ourselves, I won't say fail, not so
Yeah,
like big word. And frankly speaking, I never use this word failure. Yeah,
yeah,
I thought, what is failure, you know? What do you mean by I fail? As the only
practice.
word fail is used by teachers to say that you're supposed to hit 100 marks, but now you have 49 and 50, 49 and below, so it means fail because there's a marking system. But I'm
Yeah,
sorry, in life, there's no 100 marks,
correct,
right? A lot of things that we do, there is no 100 upon 100. So the real situation, the real thing in life is there is no such thing as failure to me. Okay. It is all about, okay, we are going to do something. The result may not be what we want or what we expected. We have not hit the results that we want. So what do we do about it? What can we do more about it? Or is it because we should not be doing it? So this is what I always would, it will always come rather than, oh, I do this, it's not hitting the result, that means I fail. No, that should not be the case. We cannot stamp everything, into
yeah,
pass, fail, pass. Who is there to say what is a pass and what is a fail, right? That's why in my children also, let's say my son just had an exam. I said, oh, because like yesterday was his last paper. All right, and then the day before there was another paper. So he said, oh, I didn't do well the paper, and then he keep thinking of the previous paper, right? Then I say, no, no, no. Think of the next one. Okay, the previous is over, right? There's nothing that you can do about it. You have done what you have done. Whether you have done your best or not, you know it yourself, right? Now
yeah,
you just have to accept the results. So right
yeah,
now, you actually focus on the next paper and do well in it. And after the
yeah,
next paper, yesterday he came and said, I don't think I have done well. It's okay. So what you are going to do is I'm going to fight for the next one. You
yeah,
see? So what is over. We learn from it. Yeah, if really we have not done our best, we know it ourselves. Just continue to see how we can do better. And I always know one thing regarding myself and for my kids. I also always also say this: the best is yet to come. We are always in the best situation right now at this juncture, yet we can always be better the next moment. Yeah. So I hope I can leave this with you for today, this topic.
Yes, I think that's it for today, guy. Oh my God, thank you so much. Good information. And I
Yeah.
hope that we help you something for tip of how leader as us
Mhm.
raise a kid. So maybe we can add some value for your life. And yes, we will see you in the next episode with me and
Yeah.
Pauline.
Thank you so much.
If you
Leave us
love what
with
you've
a
been watching, if you
note.
love all the content that we share with you guys, and if you love whatever video and topic that we share with you guys, don't forget to
Like, subscribe, and we are all in the YouTube socials like Insta, FB, TikTok, and remember to watch out for our next video. Bye.
bye.